Hey everybody, and welcome to Angel Metals. And tonight is a conversation with friends, and a conversation connection with friends. The reason why is because most of us in the chat room are friends. Our guests on the show are my friends. And Spirit is our friend. So you never know when Spirit will pop up, i.e. Teddy or anybody else for that matter. So, but my guest this evening was supposed to be the Rambling Mediums plus one. Well, I have one medium and one plus one. That sounds so wrong. But okay. We are missing a medium. His adorable children gave him a little bug. So
So
he's now...
you get two extra larges.
So we're giving him the free pass for today because he can't be here. So that would be Michael Rogers. But I will make him work twice as hard the next time he comes back because I'll keep him on all by himself. He won't have anybody else to help him out.
He bailed out last time as well.
Yeah.
I know, he was
Yeah.
internet problems sleeping.
Yeah. He was hashtag sleeping.
Well, as most of you can hear, I have two guests. One is hashtag Team Teddy, which is Eric Lynn, and hashtag Sean Connery's voice double, the one and only Scott Stevenson. Thank you, boys. Thanks for showing up and not having any cold.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Okay. All right. So, for those of you in the chat room who don't know, I'm going to have the boys introduce themselves. Okay.
Hi,
Scott, you
Jennifer.
go first.
Me?
Yes,
What do you want?
you.
What do you want to know about me? I'm just fabulous. What more do you need to know?
Introduce yourself. Eric, stop making faces for Scott. I'm going to have to finger daddy talk today, am I? Go
Uh,
tell everybody a little bit about yourself, please.
lived down in the south of England, Somerset, southwest. Three daughters. I was a bad man in a previous life. Married.
So we're
Working with
blessed in this
Mrs.
life.
Well, sort of. Working with Mrs. Developing healing. She developed her mediumship. Became a hypnotherapist. Working as a hypnotherapist for a while, doing occasional bits of guided meditation and stuff. And my healing, mediumship has, I've always had wee bits I've given folk whilst doing healing, which is how a lot of healing to start. And then recently, over the last 6 months or so, I've just started accepting that I can do the mediumship stuff as well. And I've got two big hairy dogs, both lying quite quietly at the moment. Like Aki says, they may join in some point during the show. That's me, I think.
Well, Eric,
Your
now it's
turn.
your turn. Let everybody know who you are. They don't already.
Well, first of all, before I do that, I'd just like to say good evening and welcome to Teddy's Rambling Show. The Eric, Teddy and Scott Show, I believe this could be called.
ETS?
Yes, I was informed tonight that somebody thought Teddy was cute. I'll not tell you Teddy's response to that, but he wasn't the best, Harry. Yeah, good evening. My name is I'm Eric Lynn. Right, how can I put this? I'm a practicing medium. I've been practicing for 57 years. At some point, I'm going to get it right. I try to work with my guy Teddy when he'll allow me. Basically, he likes golf better than he does talking to me. And we tend to try and do things with a little bit of humour, which is why Scott got drafted into the +1, because that's the way we work. I tried to do things and let everybody understand that spirit is exactly the same as when they passed over. If they had a colourful expression or a colourful vocabulary, then that comes back. Usually via Teddy, so therefore I have a chance to maybe, temper it a little bit. It doesn't all spill out like verbal diarrhea. But the thing is that at the end of the day, I'm here. I've been working with Spirit now for 57 years. I am quite honoured to work with Spirit. Not quite as honoured as I am to work with Scott tonight because he's canny. And if I didn't say that, he would just talk over us all night. And that's just about me in a nutshell. Anything else, please holler up and say hello and ask me questions. I might answer if I feel like it or if I just don't like it, I won't. There we are, darling.
Okay, well, thank you, boys, for introducing yourselves. No, it ain't me, but okay. If I'm breathing too loudly, people, please let me know. We don't want to have it sound like a bizarre porn video, like Scott's going. Okay, had a moment. Thank you guys for introducing yourself. Thanks for coming in. All right. One of the things that somebody asked me today, who my guests were on and why I chose them. Well, aside from the fact that I have known Eric and Scott, Michael a little less time. He's getting used to me. I think I scared him. That's why he doesn't come out as often as these guys do. They're honest with what they say and what they do. And if you ask them a question, be prepared for honesty. There is no silly questions. There are no stupid questions except perhaps the ones that you haven't asked, because I'm sure there's somebody else out there wanting to know the same thing. So, be that as it may, I saw a conversation on Facebook today between a few psychic mediums. Don't ask me which ones was which, because that was the topic of conversation. So I have putting it to both you, Scott, and Eric, the difference between a psychic and a medium. Can you be a psychic medium or a medium psychic? And just
I'm extra large, I don't know.
Eric, in that case, you can go first.
Certainly, not a problem. The difference between a psychic and a medium. A medium is a person who comes to your house and you pay them money and sits and drink your coffee. A psychic sits at the end of the pier and you go to them and they don't give you coffee. Ta-da!
One of the things that was explained to me when I first started out about psychics and mediums, psychics tend to be people who are giving you a reading, a fortune telling. You're going to meet some tall, dark, handsome, blah blah. A lot of people call themselves psychics. They sit at the end of the pier, they wear big hooped earrings and a turban and call themselves Madam Bloody Zaza or some other nonsense. Mediums tend to be people who are like an old-fashioned I wouldn't say that. But like an old-fashioned telephone exchange. In the olden days when Eric was young, people used to make a phone call, they'd phone the operator. The operator would put a cable in this big box, and then that box would then connect with the person they wanted to speak to. We are the box. We're the communication between you and our spirit, our loved one who may want to talk to you. So you can be a psychic medium and you can be a medium, but you can't really. If you're a psychic, you're not necessarily a medium.
Yeah, some psychics may be mediums, but all mediums are psychics.
Okay, so if you're a medium, you're speaking to people who cross over.
Yeah.
But you can also, I'm guessing it's with the help of spirit, tell the future like a psychic. But
I think some of it's aura. We've all got a big aura around ourselves, and depending on how strong we're feeling at the time, is how wide our aura extends around us. Our area. People can walk into your aura and you feel fine. Other people, you clash and you get pushed away. Psychics I understand, psychics tend to read the aura, things that are happening in your aura. So it's not necessarily coming from a spirit, they're probably reading what's coming from you. So if you've gone to them, the reason people go to psychics is A, for a laugh, and B, to have some sort of question answered. With watching their facial language, their body language, and how they respond to your questions, you know that a lot of psychics can use that body language to do a cold reading for you. There are mediums who do the same, but generally psychics, they can get some stuff, but it's mainly, or it seems to me, I understand it to be stuff that they're picking up off you, whereas a medium is getting stuff that they believe and prove to you is coming from your loved one, so your ancestors, your family, or somebody you know. And it's a bit of a harder job to do, really, to prove that the message you're getting comes from somebody that you know and you've never met.
Okay, I'm going to put my cousin's work in there because basically Scott explained that really well and it was a big load of feedback. It's, no, it's actually 100% perfect, is that what Scott said. It is that way. The only difference is that my mantra as a medium is the fact that I am fully committed to prove the existence of life after life. I'm not really bothered about the life to come. So the thing is that I tend to concentrate on Auntie Vinny that's passed over and Uncle Jack that's passed over. If they stray into the area of giving me some kind of futuristic prediction, unless it happens to be the 6 lottery numbers, then I divulge it to at the time. If it was the 6 lottery numbers, then I'm afraid I wouldn't be sitting here. But it's, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, and therefore spirit does it. It's somewhere where people feel, oh, it's a grey area between the two. It's not really. If you go to a psychic, and I'm not knocking psychics at all, psychics are nice people, they have a right to earn a living as well, and the thing is, they will concentrate on telling you what is to come. They are not going to tell you not going to tell you that they use a connection to people that have already passed, the people who have passed over. They're going to tell you, I can tell your future, basically. And that's the difference. I'm telling you past.
Okay, so I'm trying to get this with questions that everybody would ask, even though I probably asked all of you guys this question so many times. I'm going to keep on going. So a psychic tells you the future. Now, whether it's guesswork, whether it's cold readings, that you're going to have to explain the difference between cold readings and hot readings. Okay, but just hang on a second. A psychic can tell you, is supposed to be able to tell you what's to come. But we, as humans, have this nasty little habit of free will. So if a psychic tells me that you're going to go and you're going to go into store A and write down 6 numbers, and they will be those numbers. If I happen to go into store B, I ain't going to get the same damn numbers. So that's, again, it's telling us the future, but as humans, we get to choose whether we listen or not. As a medium, you tell us what Auntie Mame and Nana Boo Boo have to tell us from the past to confirm that they are there, and probably want to give you a good stiff kick in the pants so that you can smarten up and fly right. But they're not going to tell you how to do it. They're just going to say, you know, it's their way of saying, yeah, I'm here. I see what you're doing. Let's smarten the hell up. Is that it?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
that's it.
sometimes they'll also come in and I've been getting quite recently that if you're sitting thinking, if you, Darlene, are sitting thinking of a question, nobody else knows the answer, and you're saying to Spirit, please give me some sort of sign, tell me something, give me a clue, what I should do in my pathway. Quite often Spirit will say, well, like what happened in the show last week, the answer to your question from 2 weeks ago is yes. Well, you've still got free will to take it or not. Spirit has come through and said, there's an answer. But it's your choice whether you take it or not.
True. Everything is the sitter's choice as to whether or not we accept it and we follow the path that Spirit has guided us or attempted to guide us with.
Yeah, unfortunately, people on the earth plane have this ridiculously intricate thing called free will, and it annoys, it annoys spirit. Because basically they'll come in and tell us this wonderful thing, and we go, I don't like that idea, I'm not going to do it. And and that tends to get them a little bit upset. They will then have a hissy fit, but saying that they can't actually physically touch you, therefore they can swing and try and give you give slaps all the like. It isn't going to happen. So the thing is that you carry on doing what you think you want to do. But then the first thing you do is to then come back and go, oh, Spirit, can you help me? I've made a bit of a boob. And then the thing is that Spirit will then go, yes, darling, of course we'll help you. Because you completely ignored us the last 172 times. You know? So, this is, Spirit's nice that way. They tend to do it.
So Spirit, in other words, Spirit never gives up on us. No matter how many mistakes we make, no matter how many times we slip and fall flat on our face,
The
Spirit
sense
is always with us.
from how you're talking, I don't mean you in general, but from how we talk about Spirit, we talk about it as a separate entity. But it's not. It's like what Eric said earlier. They're the same person in spirit as they are here. So if they're cantankerous, there'll be a cantankerous old get over there. That's how the message will come across. The only difference is when they're over there, it seems that they get access to all sorts of information. It opens their eyes. They have a review of their life to see what they've done, how they've affected other people. So they learn stuff if they choose to. So there is no difference between, do you think Spirit will help me, and saying, do you think my Aunt May would help me? If she was here, would she help you here? Oh yes, she'll help you in spirit. So, and she'll help you the same way as she helped you in spirit, whether it's using a bit of a sweary word or taking you up the dirty air. But it'll be the same way, but it's still the same person or the same entity.
Okay, so that has me curious. You said that if the person's cantankerous old fart here, that there will be a cantankerous old fart on in the spirit realm, in the big bad universe that we call whatever. So if somebody's an SOB in this life, can't they go over and become a non-SOB in the other life? And notice I'm being nice with my words, right? I don't have to put money in the swear jar this week.
Well, I believe you've got opportunities. You've got opportunities in this life to be a nicer person. When you go to spirit, you see things differently. If you're a full-on religious freak, banging your tambourine and judging everybody and wearing sackcloth and ashes, when you go over, you might get a bit of a shock and find that the fella in charge looks like Buddha. You know, so they get opportunities to advance. They don't have to take it because they've got free will there as well, but most seem to. A good responsible medium will filter what we're getting. We wouldn't say to somebody who we're talking to is obviously distressed something nasty from a vindictive, bible-blooded bashing tambourine banger just because that's how they were in this life. We wouldn't give that to them. We would think about it for a moment and try and say it in a different way, but try and still give the message. So there are filters between them and us, and that's from what we've learned and the people we are. Yes, still can be, if you choose to be.
I'll give you a wee story here, Scott. Here. Just tonight I was in church, and when I was in church, the mediums came on the platform, and the very first medium came straight to me. Now I know this medium a little bit, and she said, "I've got Nellie here." Now, if anybody hasn't known before, Nellie's my grandmother. She's a very powerful medium, a lovely, 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 powerful medium. And she then proceeded to give me a message as Nellie would give the message to me. And she used nicknames, she used things that nobody knew, she used expressions that Nellie uses, and the whole thing. And she gave a message to me. But she said afterwards, when I spoke to her, I said, well, how did you know it was for me? She said, because Nellie took everybody else away in the church and I could only speak to you. And no matter wherever I turned, I only saw you. And I went, oh, that must be so horrifying. You know what I mean? Imagine, like, 35 Eric Flynn. Good God.
God.
Anyway, but the thing is, though, that
Enough to give you a
that's
nightmare.
what exactly well, that's, I mean, you know what I mean. But that's what Nelly did, and
Do
she
you think we
wouldn't
can
let
have
it
her
go.
on the show next week?
But Nelly,
No, the poor medium that had 35 reviews versus one church.
yeah, I wouldn't mind, but the lady's a witch.
That's okay.
Oh, they're alright.
We
Yeah,
have a witch in the
yeah,
chat room
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
And she actually runs a cafe called the Witchery,
Well,
and
then tell her, miss, I
and
need
then
to talk to her.
well, you tell Michael because it's Michael's best bud.
Okay, then I will talk to Michael.
100%.
If
Yeah.
Michael ever gets healthy again, I'll talk to Michael.
He's not healthy, he's just hate. But
Mm.
it's only because he hates me. That's what it is. Oh, I was going to tell you why he got hashtag.
Yes, yes, please. I gave each of you a hashtag, and Michael's came from actually something you told me about him, so let everybody know why Michael Rogers, now known by me as Bring Some Food Cheryl, is now known by me, hashtag the murdering medium.
Yeah. Well, right, here we go then. Michael did a special in our church a week and a half ago. And there was over 80 people came to this special. And it was packed. The room usually holds about 60. And, you know, they were like sitting on each other's knees. And, you know, the men thought it was great. The women were very happy about it. But the thing is, though, that it was all, they were all sitting there and everything. And Michael went into his clairvoyance, and he was given messages, and that's fine, no trouble at all. And he went to this girl, and you got to imagine the whole room was absolutely packed. And he said to this young lady, he said, "I've got your mother here in spirit." At which point there was a little voice from the back of the room going, "Oh no, you haven't." And of course Michael went, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yeah, I was there at the birth." So Michael went, "Oh, I don't like to put people in a box that's not dead." And I thought, well, there you go. He's a murdering medium because he's got evidence that he must have put people in boxes before they weren't dead. That's it.
Well, in the chat room, I have the links to both Eric's Facebook page. At least I think it's Eric's Facebook page. I have to
I
check.
know what you mean.
How do you call that? Tell me if that works, okay? I did check. Another one I'm going to put up, and if I can find it, is second slow. Okay, that's my new bestie, my friend. That's to Scott Dog's Facebook page. So if you like cheetahs or like animals that control their masters, go there. She'll talk to you all the time. All right. Lilithia? Okay, God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How did you come to be who you are now with spirit, with talking to spirit? Yeah, gentlemen?
Have I got to give the Teddy story, have I?
Yes, that would be the Teddy story. Are
Do you want
yours.
to go first, Scott? Then I'll finish with the Teddy story.
I go on then. When I first started, I started with the wife. We went to Spiritualist Church. We sort of got involved in it because we'd had some experiences in the house, lots of banging and doors slamming and cold spots and all sorts of other stuff. Well, the wife did. I didn't. So she was having a conversation with a complete stranger at a bus stop, and the conversation came around to spiritualist churches, and he said, "I'm going on Tuesday. Do you want a lift?" So we got to know this guy. Helen would go one Tuesday, I'd go the following one because we had 3 young kids at the time. I get more and more into the church. I became a healer with the Healer Practitioner Association. And then the wife, for various reasons, got knocked out of the church because it wasn't a place for Spirit wanted her to be. And when I first started doing healing, working with Helen, the wife, having home circles, developing circles, I'd get little bits of mediumship, little bits when I was healing somebody, and I just put it down. That's what happens when healers are working, you get a close bond. And then over the years since then, that's 20 odd years ago, 25 years ago I think, I've never really had the confidence to say I'm a medium because I thought, well, I'm not really, I'm a healer. But then I've started saying, well, okay, if you want me to be a medium, I'll give what I get. So I've been given what I get, and to my complete and utter amazement, some of the stuff's been actually quite true. And then over the last 6 months or so, it's been a case of doing it more and more. The healing and the mediumship are going together for me. So that's how I got into it, really.
Yeah, if he lets me record it, it's always at the end of the show.
Well, you know.
No, you better not. You better join in because we're both rambling mediums tonight. So there we go.
Exactly. Look, I'm the plus one tonight. There you go.
Okay, right. I'm gonna tell you how I got involved in it. I was born into a family of mediums. My grandmother was a very famous, very powerful medium here in the United Kingdom. Then my mother used to work on the platform. And then at the age of 7, my grandmother dragged me up kicking and screaming onto the platform to give a message. And at that point, I gave the message, and I have been working with Spirit every day since. As I say, it's now 57 years. I have had a variety of guides, because I do work with a guide and I work with a choir, so that it's not me that's doing the work, it's them. Now, I started working as a child, and when I'm working as a child, you have guides that are children, because it's no good sending you a 50-year-old monk to be your guide if you're a 7-year-old child. You have absolutely nothing in common and no frame of reference. So you start with children guides, and then you progress through and through. I'm on my 11th incarnation of my guide now, and this is Teddy. Now, you said, how did you come to be who you are with Spirit talking? Right. I was in the shower one day doing what I do in the shower. I was doing my ablutions, and I've got my soap in my eyes, and I've got soap everywhere, and all of a sudden, this male voice says, "Hi, I'm your guide, Teddy." Well, I asked him to leave the shower, or some kind of words to that effect. To which he stepped through the shower curtain, as they do, and proceeded to laugh on the other side. And he has the most raucous, stupid laugh in the world. So I'm immediately trying to get all this soap out of my eyes and everywhere else. Rip the shower curtain back, and there's a 6'4" gentleman with a handlebar moustache, a smoking jacket, and a pair of +4s, leaning on a golf club. And I just took one look at him and just fell about laughing. And since then, Teddy has been my guide. If that answers your question.
Okay. So as they...
Lisa, yeah.
Yes. Both have answered great, which is fabulous. And I've also noticed that whereas Eric works with, I got it, Lisa, yeah? I wrote it down too. I'm about to forget it. Just like, Eric works with a guide. You've always worked with guides, Eric?
Yep, always work with guides.
Okay, so technically you could speak to your guide and say, okay, help me here. And the guide, you would know who's speaking with you. Scott, do you have a specific guide, or do you just work with spirit in general?
I know that.
Daniel.
Nah, that's American. It's silly. I know that I have guys. I know I have a couple in particular. But I don't share with them. They wait for proof from them. They know what they're talking about. From other mediums and stuff. But I don't actually work with guides very much. The wife does. Helen works a lot with her guide, but I don't really know mine. That's my, to my shame really, because I should learn. But that's just where I am really.
Dude, you're still young. You'll still get it.
Scott,
Just wait to catch
I'm
up
not
to
a
your
shader.
age, yeah?
yeah, Scott, listen, you say that you don't know, you don't work with your guide.
Well, I do
But
sort of, I don't have a conversation with them. I do
yeah,
do.
but that's not the thing. The question was actually work with your guide. Yes, you do work with your
Oh,
guide
okay.
because she, it is the thing that puts the information into your brain that you interpret and then give back out. So yes, you do work with your guide. You just work with them mentally, as opposed to the fact that I'm cursed and I can actually see them. You know, so they.
And some of the pictures that you allow us to just glimpse out of Teddy are kind of scary.
You can't unsee these things. I'm telling you, it's horrible.
Okay, here's Lisa has asked the question again. What's the difference between working with spirit and working with guides?
Oh, do you want me to say that one, Scott?
Okay.
I thought you would. Yeah, sure. The difference between working with spirit and working with guides. When you are working with guides, you are working with spirit. That's the answer. But it's sometimes people don't need guides to connect with spirit. If you remember, there is no wrong way in connecting with spirit. Just different ways of getting it right. So the thing is that you don't have to have a guide. When you connect with spirit mentally, the conversations, the thoughts, the images just flash up in your head. And when they flash in your head, you can then give them out as a message and you interpret them. If you're speaking with a guide, it just gives you a focal point. It gives you something to concentrate on where spirit can, in my opinion, pass the message quicker and easier. Because you're used to communicating with somebody standing in front of you. To actually have something appearing in your head telepathically, if you want to put it that way, or, it's just it's ridiculous to me. So I use a guide. The guide then goes to my choir if it's a question he can't answer, which is usually most of the time because my guide's an idiot. And the thing is that, yes, he is. He's an idiot. Only an idiot would wrap his car around his tree and kill himself. And so the thing is that difference between working with spirit and guides? Nothing. When you're working with guides, you're working with spirit.
It's also how you work. It's also how you work as a person. I'm more of an insular sort of person. I don't share emotions, feelings, or any of that sort of stuff with anybody very well at all. So having somebody that close is probably a little bit of a worry for me on some sort of level.
Okay, sorry.
Did you see the way Scott stopped there right in the middle of me having a drink of water? Thank you, pal.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody what you do with your broomstick. Shut up.
Yay, the two of you. Okay, has there ever been a time that, now I know both of you have seen many mediums, psychics, people, spiritual telephones working. Has there ever been a time that you have known that you sit there and you go to a spirit fair, for example, and somebody's saying, I'm going to give readings for $25 or whatever, but you know that the reading that they're giving is a cold reading, and that's where that question comes in. What the heck is a cold reading in comparison to, I'm guessing, a hot reading?
It's something where you've got to sit with your coat on.
Yeah. No,
Show the camera right now?
a cold reading is when somebody uses your body language and responses and generates a reading from those responses. For example, if I was talking to you and I was talking about the tall man, possibly a father or a grandfather that's behind you just now, well, across here, and especially in this little bit in here, there's tiny little movements of your of your muscles in your forehead, or your eyes will change, or you'll look up and think, yeah, or you'll quite often in the reading people will answer you, and they'll say, oh, that's my Uncle Bertie, and he does such and he. Just say yes, no, or I don't know. But a cold reading is when a very clever person who can, very clever at reading your body language and your movements and your signs that we all make as human beings when we communicate. They can read that and generate a reading for you. A warm reading is one where it's honest, you're talking to spirit, or you believe you're talking to spirit.
But my question is, can you detect it? Do you see it? Do you know that,
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, it tends to be the same. If you go to where Eric lives, or where I come from in the west of Scotland, there are mediums that I've seen on platform that have said to a group of 30, 40, 100 people, I've got a Jim, or a Jimmy, or a James. That's the name of every second man in Scotland and the northeast of England. I've got, and I think he's a coal miner, or he's a fisherman. That's the two biggest industries. And he's got a Jeannie or an Elizabeth. It's bullshit. No, it's utter nonsense. Because everybody who's at a reading can take those names, they can take that industry, they can take where they've come from, and a generic man of the 50s wore a suit jacket and a flat cap or a hat, because that was how men wore, that was their work uniform, and it's just silly. So yes, the answer is yes, and you need a good slapping.
I went to do a charity event down in Graves in Essex, and the tickets were quite expensive, and but they were £40 a ticket, and but if you paid £40, you had the chance to go and work and set up a table. So I set up a table to give all the readings I did to charity, and next to me was an old woman who she was getting on quite a bit older than Darlene and everything else, and she was she must have been in her 70s, and I was there and I was sitting next to her, and she started giving these readings, and they were supposed to be tarot readings, and she had the whole deck spread out, and she was doing this, and then I heard the same reading again, and I thought, what's going on? So I looked over, and it was a different person, and this person started at 10 o'clock in the morning. She had half an hour for lunch, and she worked 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She had a queue the whole day, and she charged £40 a reading. Now, the readings lasted 20 minutes. And at the end of this, so she was making £60 an hour, and at the end of this, I had to look to see who was sitting beside her, because every single reading was exactly the same. She just turned them around to a different order. And as Scott says, all the names were generic. That's why I don't do names, because they're far too easy. Everybody has a George, a Bill, a William, a Jack, a John. Everybody has an Anne, or even a Gwen, or even a Rose, or even a Margaret, or a Betty. Everybody has them. But when they get home and speak to the other half, and they go, well, I've got an Uncle John, I've got an Auntie Jack. There you go. That's it. Screwed up your whole reading,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do names for that very reason.
But there are people who will do readings with names.
Oh yes,
And
yes,
and they get the names, like especially if it's specific names that are not like a generic name. So
I usually give names when I've given all sorts of other stuff with it. I've described them, I've said stuff about them, and then I've added a name as well. But the name isn't the important part. The name isn't the link to that person.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Descriptor.
Yeah, that's right. It's a case of the name isn't the important part. That's the thing. A lot of people will go to a medium and they want names. They want what they think is validation. And names aren't validation. Names aren't at all. If you can say to somebody, oh, I've got a bird here, and they go, oh, whoopee, I've got a bird there. But if you can say to somebody, I've got a man here who's about 5'6", he's got grey hair on the top, he passed with a heart attack, it took him 3 days to pass in hospital. By the way, you were there when he passed over, you held his hand, you told him it's time to go, blah, 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 and go on for like 15 minutes about this guy. And then at the end of it, say, oh, he's given us the name bird. That's okay, that's fine. But by the time I've done 15 minutes of validation, I hope they don't need me. I hope they know exactly who it is.
Yeah. And with cold readings, do it yourself. When you're looking at somebody on the camera, is not too clear. It's clear enough, but it's not as good. When you're back in your job and you're talking to somebody, you say something that the answer to is yes, you'll see their head move slightly. Or answers no. Or you're asking them something, and before you've finished your sentence, they're going, oh, you know, we as human beings communicate about 70% or 75% of all our communication through our body language. It's how we as human beings communicate with each other. It's how all species communicate with each other. You use your body, your language, your hands, your movements, your eyes, as Lilith has said. So if you're a reader reading those things, you get such a lot of information. And that's why when you're a fitter, getting a reading, it's important to have an open mind, but it's also important to have a closed gob for half the time. The number of folk that will tell you things, and you're saying, please don't tell me that, because now I cannot give you that as proof. And for me, it's giving you the proof that's important. Like I didn't tell you the names of my guides or what they look like or who they are. Well, your job as a medium is to tell me, and I'll say yes, you're right, or no, you're wrong. And that's how I'll know if you're a good medium, or an intermediate medium, or whatever. But it's my proof from you that you can tell me what they look like. But I've told you already, you don't know that in 2 years' time when you say, I've got this guide and he's such and such. Well, I told you that 2 years ago. You've just remembered.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, Scott's been a very learned gentleman. And a gentleman that's very educated will understand when I say that a psychic will use what's known as the McPherson technique. Now, the McPherson technique is the same technique which is employed by top salespeople. And this is the fact that when you go into a store and you confront a salesperson, he can ask a question in a way which only leads you to say yes. And the same technique is applied by psychics when they are doing cold reading at the end of the pier, or, you know, when they're trying to impress people. And
Some psychics.
Yeah,
some psychics.
Some psychics. Oh no, I'm not saying all psychics are fake. No way. There are some wonderful psychics out there who work very, very well and communicate with spirit and do everything they need to do. But if they are using this technique, you have to be good to catch them, because basically it's like the open questions of how can I put it? Darlene, you would like an extra $1,000, wouldn't you? Well, you're not going to say no, are you?
No.
Unless Darlene, you'd like an extra $1,000, wouldn't you? Yes. Well, I'm sure that you would like to be able to pay that back very slowly instead of paying it back all in one sum. Well, yes. And this is the way you structure it, and it goes down the road, and at the end, the only answer is yes. That's why you buy the washing machine, or the VCR, or whatever it is that this guy's selling. I know, because I was good at it. So, but this is what you do, and but it definitely needs to be separated.
I pointed out, I only interrupted because it's important that folks know that both Eric and I appreciate the fact that there's an awful lot of really good psychics, awful lot of really good mediums. And it's important not to think all psychics that sit at the end of the pier with a hoop earrings called Madam Bloody Zaza are fakes, because they might not be. They really might not be. So it's unfair to say it. We have to leave that open to your judgment.
Yeah, and I mean, anybody who can produce that birth certificate that says I'm a bad stars are, then I'll believe they're a really good psychic. Yes, psychics are people too, Lilith. Of course they are.
Yeah.
There is some wonderful psychics out there who do exceptional work and communicate with spirit and give people a lot of closure, and it's so that's great, and I've got no problem with them, none whatsoever. It's just the same as the same people who say they're a medium, and by God's sake, they're an extra large. So come on, they've just got to get on and tell the truth.
I think that there, as you say, there are some psychics out there who wear the large hoop earrings and do the thing, but it's also because they may be the best psychic out there, but they're dressed as a caricature, because there are some people out there, sitters out there, don't think, like, look at Scott. Does he look like a psychic? No, he just looks like a hairy beast, But when I started, before I was as comfortable with who I am, I used to wear, you've got pictures on Facebook of me with my bracelets, and I love my jewelry, I love my thing, but I used to wear it because I thought that's what people wanted to see. And now people either take me or leave me the way I am, Will I wear my jewelry? Yes. Will it be for somebody else? No, it's for me. So, it has nothing to do, sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the person giving the readings, but the people who are accepting the readings, the sitters.
Yeah.
They want that Madame
They need the uniform.
Yes. Okay. We have another question from Richie. So where does your journey of self-development lead you to, now that you are in contact with spirit guides? We're going to come over here and invade Canada.
To be the best that we can be. I've once seen a medium on platform that his name was David Darragh. He was a lovely wee man. He was a phenomenal healer, an awesome medium, and he gave his readings off the platform and told people their loved one's name, their address, the street name that they lived in. He told them so much information that the person who received the readings from that wee man were absolutely in no doubt. But I'd like to be half as good as that, at least. That's where my development goes.
Well, you see, I changed because my development is that, as I said at the start, I've been doing this for 57 years, and one night I'm going to get it right. As I always build myself as a practicing medium. Because every time I work with spirit, every time I work with something, I get more. Over the last 7 or 8 months, I've been given so much by spirit that I'm still trying to work through. And just literally in the last month or so, I've been given the next step, the next level to the spirit beyond spirit. And it's something I'm still trying to get my head around, something I'm still trying to get to do. And all of this on top of the fact that I just love working with spirit. I've told people for many years I never feel as live as I am when I'm working with the dead. And it's absolutely true, except for the fact that they're not dead. Your lifeline is linear. It carries on. It's just a previous life experience. That's all you can remember. It's not, it's not a previous life. It's just a life experience.
And I'm also hoping that Spirit's going to give us a big wad of money. We're going to open up a retreat, and I'm going to do healing and teaching and mediumship and all that sort of stuff at my retreat. So I'm waiting for that one to happen. I've told them I'm finished with the lesson of poverty and struggle, and now I'm ready for the lesson of abundance and
disgusting
lots of money. Well, it's going to be a burden, but I'm going to give them a best shot.
Scott, did I not tell you that I'm extremely wealthy? If you'd asked us, I would have just loaned you.
Oh. Well, what do I have to do for that?
And if you believe that, if you send us $10, I'll cure the world.
Well, it's funny that nobody over the mouthpiece like that. Your hominoids. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was talking to the right thing.
That's okay. You can talk, Alan. Don't lock her.
Got no wax left on my ears.
That's okay. I'm already screamed in her ears. This is why it's so good.
No, there's no shame in being wealthy, but I'd like to learn that lesson, though.
Yeah.
It's funny. Facebook asked me.
It's like being good looking like me. It's a tough thing, but somebody's got to do it.
Facebook asked a question this week, and that you just sort of said, "What would you do if you had $1 billion?" And my thing is, I would build my spiritual retreat. And I think that I have to figure out
Just a
where I'm going
billion.
to build it. Just $1 billion. Just
It
$1
doesn't
billion.
last as much as it used to.
I'm not taking a pay cut from Facebook.
Sorry. But if you build the retreat, if you had the ability to build your retreat, would you build, first off, where would you build the retreat?
Malibu.
And
It's sunny.
sunny there, isn't it? I gotta bring Malibu to Stonehenge. Yeehaw. Where would you build your retreat? And what is the first thing that you would put into your retreat? First thing.
Harry Potter. Then he could just magic the rest of it.
We're quite happy living down here in the southwest of England.
Mm-hmm.
Quite happy with the weather, all that sort of stuff. Glastonbury's not too far. One of the first things I think we'll build would be a little fairy dell in the woods that there'll be as part of this retreat. A little place where you can sit and commune with fairies, bring them into the property.
So, Eric,
Yes.
if you could build a retreat, serious now, if you could build a retreat anywhere, where would it be? And the first thing that you would put into it?
Right, okay, if I could build it anywhere. Probably the Lake District, because it's beautiful there. And you could have it away from other people, but not too far away. And what's the first thing I put into it? Probably a throne, so I could sit on it.
You know, the throne over here is called toilet, right?
Yeah.
I'm just remembered.
I did know that, darling, yes.
Okay, good.
Along with a view though.
Oh yeah, a throne with a view.
I knew this was not going to
And
go as good.
a heated seat.
Oh God,
A
yes.
heated seat.
Hell yes.
A heated seat, yeah. Yeah, and a big window so you can wave to people outside. Hello, I'm extremely rich and I'm on the throne.
And Jill says reading material. Okay, which is another question. How do you work with ego versus being as clear as you can? How do you work with ego versus being as clear as you can? Do you differentiate between ego and spirit? 2 in 1, sorry. Hey, all good.
Hard questions.
Yes,
Excellent
she's very good
question.
at that.
Excellent questions.
You can bring her around more often.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Right, first, I'll go first, Scott, because you were sitting there and you didn't say nothing. How do you work with ego versus being as clear as you can? Practice is the answer. When you start working with spirit, you always think that you are working with your ego. I don't know what's from spirit and what's in my own head and things like this. And the thing is that once you start realizing and you're working with sitters and you say to the sitter, this and this, and they say yes, you think, ooh, did I just guess that? And then you go, this and this, and they go, yes. And you go, oh, I'm good at this guessing game, aren't I? And then you go, this and this, and they go, yes. And once it happens about 30 times, you realise that you're actually being guided by somebody bigger than yourself. And once you get to that situation of realising you're being guided, then you no longer have ego. Because at that point, Nellie's rules start to apply. And Nellie, when I was being taught by my grandmother Nellie, she taught me there was only 2 rules. When you start believing that you are the star and spirit is working for you, then you need to be very, very silly, you know? And it's rule number 1 is spirit does the work, you don't. Rule number 2, if you start thinking you're a star, reread rule number 1. Easy as that.
You hear Eric's cat.
I agree with what Eric said. There's how do you bounce back from being wrong or finding right intuition. Well, that applies as well, because quite
Oh.
often people will say no. And that's
Mm.
one of the hardest things most mediums get used to. I still find
Yeah.
it difficult when somebody says, no, I can't take that, no, you're not making any sense, no, that's rubbish. It tended to knock me off my feet and set me back quite a while. We've talked about this before on other shows. There are people who just say no because they don't want to say yes, or they can't wait long enough. But ego's a tough one. It's something most people in any spiritual quest, whether to be a medium or to be a gong therapist or a crystal therapist, or it's one of the things that we all work on, looking at removing ourselves from just being a channel. And it's I've been doing this for 25 years, not as long as Eric, and I still doubt that I can actually do this some of the time. And it's only because in the last 6 months when I've started to say, okay, I'll give it anyway. And when you give it anyway, you start opening up and start being a better channel. But yeah, I thought I was hearing things. I thought I was hearing spirit. Got a message from a cat. Who's got a cat spirit?
Yeah, it's Madame Tarzan. Stop there for a second. No, the thing is that how do you bounce back from being wrong? Very, very easy, because at the start I was told every no is just another step towards a yes.
Yeah.
And that was, at the time I thought it can't be that easy, but it is, because there is a second caveat to that. And that is that once you believe spirit and you trust spirit, then you don't mind the no, because everybody can be a yes medium. Everybody can be a yes medium. A medium only starts to earn the coin when somebody says no.
Well, here's the thing. I have been out of my spiritual closet for, it'll be 18, we'll say 6 years now. And I doubt myself. And both of you know that I'd be like, oh my God, I don't get this shit. But, it's nice to know that, the more seasoned mediums also get that doubt, you know, and that it's not so easy, but it's easy to bounce back, you know, so long as, for me, I have to talk to myself. Duty. But hey, I talk to myself, and that's how I've learned to deal with it, is when I get the no's, and I've had no's, and just like everybody else, they have no's, it just, I sort of have to say to myself, it's okay. You know, it's part of life. You know, there's always something in life that will knock you on your fanny. It's a no. You know, tripping over the wood. It's getting, you know, but the point is you have to get back up and get into it. And I'm back up. Yeah, I'm here.
And also, if somebody's telling you no, it makes you work harder. It makes you say to spirit, well, give me some other answer.
Yeah.
Give me some other way around this. Or if somebody's trying to bend what you've said to them into what they think it is, but it doesn't feel right, it's really, really easy to say, okay, well, that's a perfect fit then. But if you know it's not, it's hard to say, nope, you're wrong, this isn't what I mean, it's this. No, I can't take that then. Yes, you can. I can't take this. Yes, you can. Think of, and then you get some more information comes and it starts to get clearer and clearer. But it's really, the ego thing is quite a big thing to deal with. But I think as long as you're worried about how good you're going to be for folk or how good a channel you're going to be for folk, then it shows that you're putting spirit first and people first.
Yeah, it's all the connection to spirit. My grandmother taught me that the difference between mediums who sit in open circles, where there's 30, 40, 50 people and they're all sitting around and they're giving messages. The difference between people who sit in open circles and the mediums who stand on the platform or on the stage or stand up on the TV or wherever is 5 letters. That's the only difference between the sit down ones and the standing up ones. and that is trust. Because once you trust your guide, trust spirit, trust that it's never wrong, it's just your interpretation that's wrong, then you have the power to stand up there and say, I'm a medium and I'm going to do this service. Believe you me, it still gives you a jolt in the pit of your stomach when you stand up in front of 50 or 60 people and nothing comes. And that's usually why I take spare underwear.
And there are some really big names for whom that's been a problem. There was one, which I forgot what she's called again, one of the really, really famous ones in the whole of Britain, if not the world. And she was writing in one of her books that she'd gone to the loo, and as she was sitting in the loo, she had a couple of people in her show talking about something. And then when she was standing up ready to do her show, she had a big problem. She couldn't think of anything. So she recalled this information, spotted the ladies that were in the loo, and gave off that information, and Spirit just backed right away from her. She lost all her abilities for ages. So they will sort you out.
Yeah, I mean, I had two friends from Jedburgh, and they were wonderful, wonderful mediums. There was a young laddie of just coming up to 18 years of age, and his father, who was in his 40s. Now, what is Darlene doing?
Scott's eating.
So what?
Marshmallows, they're very yummy.
Yeah,
Marshmallows.
I was talking there, and you were just waving your hands around. And
Alright.
yeah, and I thought, how rude.
That Darlene bird.
Yeah. And anyway, I've got these two friends, and they come from Jedburgh, and they were really, really doing well. The father's a quite a decent medium. The son was touted to be the next big thing on living TV, and they were going to be this wonderful father-son combo that was going to go and do shows and meetings. And they decided, or the son decided, that it was a bit much just walking on with a nice suit and tie. They really should do something different. So they bought morning suits, as you would have in a wedding. And with the tails and the ruffles down here and the ruffles here and all of it. And they bought suits like that. And they said they came on wearing them. Now these were two very, very dedicated and wonderful mediums. They came on in this church that we happened to be at. And we sat down. Great, no trouble at all. They never got one yes all night. Because they looked ridiculous. They looked like two Thunderbird puppets. And they came on and Spirit just went, nope. And it literally just backed up. And that was it. And they, at the end of the night, they didn't even get changed. They just said, thank you very much, took their stuff, put it in the car, and zipped off back to Scotland. They had been back, or they had been back a few times, in ordinary suits and worked, and they were absolutely wonderful. But Spirit just went, nope, this is not a dog and pony show, and there you go.
So changing the way they did something, even though it was working perfectly well, because they changed it. So Spirit backed away because they were trying to be the star?
They were trying to be the star. It's Nelly's rules. You know? Spirit is the star, they do the work. Rule number 2, if you think you're the star, we read rule number 1. It's as easy as that. And it's that's the thing. And
I think the thing is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It was working perfectly fine the first way, unless you think it's going to give you. I can't even give you. I think it's well, like when I used to wear the bangles and stuff. You know, it was what I thought. It was what I thought others wanted. So if you think it's what others want, forget what people want. Sometimes you have to sit down, have a thought what Spirit wants, what is right. not always what
Are
the
you
males want.
are you any different giving messages from spirit? If you're wearing a shirt and a tie and a waistcoat and a suit, or you're sitting down with a biker jacket and a
Oh,
t-shirt
I like the biker
and a
jacket.
chain, what's the difference? As long as you're working with spirit, that's it. You've got a question in the
Mm-hmm.
chat room, but I'll tell you what it is.
And it's also a piece of armor for you. I know that when I go and do hypnotherapies or on here tonight, I've got a clean one of these on,
Thank
and I brush my
God for
hair.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and I brush my hair. I don't have the beans dribbled down the front or anything as usual.
You
But
ready to kill?
it's, well, I don't like to say. But it's a case of it's also armour for us. If I put on my shirt and tie, then I feel differently than I do if I'm wearing my scruffs. But it's not mean I'm a better hypnotherapist or a better medium or a better anything. You just feel different. Your body language is a bit different. Your confidence is bigger. And you don't need that confidence anymore. You can wear a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. It's not important. It's for you. If you're doing it to impress people by wearing the tuxedo and the frills and all that I will look great. Bullshit. Excuse the French.
Yeah.
And she wears the cape.
Jennifer in the chat room says, how do you feel about those that say, I'm a sixth generation medium? So they feel it just has to become a given for them.
Right.
Somebody who's been a medium is like their grandma, their great grandmother, their grandmother, their mother, and them. Eric. But if Eric can say, I'm a medium because, I have 6 generations, but you really can't do it. You can't cut it. But they believe because their past is awesome mediums that they have to be one. What do you think about people like that?
That's sad.
I think it's a different ego thing.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Scott. I was trying to think of a nice way of putting that, isn't it?
Okay.
My mother and father, my mother was a phenomenal medium. She didn't do it on platform because she was too screwed up with her own religion and all sorts of other stuff. My dad was an incredible healer. And so I have that in my background. But until I was 17, and I remember me and my sister going out to developing circles and sitting in the back of the car while they went to do their developing circles. It was never discussed in front of us. It was never discussed with us. So it's a case of I knew about it, but didn't pay any attention to it. And it wasn't until we met Helen and it just happened. Or, for folks to say, I'm a 6th generation. My arse.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to jump across to a question. Lilith, I hate to tell you, but you're a bit late because I'm actually doing this session naked under my clothes.
It'd be definitely too scary, Lilith.
Yeah.
Does what you wear matter? Never done a naked reading before. It's just, and like I think like Scott said, it's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And some people can do naked readings. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Listen, I do all my readings naked under my clothes.
Okay. And Rich says when she wears her cape, she cackles all night. Yeah, you.
She does that anyway.
Hey, I like this.
Well,
Sweat Lord.
I've never met Lilith, so I'm not going to say that she, that anybody cackles all night or whoever. But I do know people who do cackle all night.
Mm.
And that wasn't Lilith who cackles, it was Liafa that cackles.
Liata. Yeah. And then I know people who do cackle all night. They usually stand on platforms and they call themselves chafers.
Okay, Jules, let's get off that green because now I see why. But yeah, but hey, I can still see it. So it's like, whoa, hey, gonna make me focus. Talk about
That's
Chinese
because
dance.
you've got a 26 font, though, darling.
I don't have it. I have it on. Yeah, that's better, darling. Okay, Jackie says that's why I've never seen Jennifer's journey on cam. She's naked. What on JJ? Okay, my move. Jules has asked, have you ever delivered a message that has really hit you profoundly?
I can't say I have. I know that I've given messages to people and there's been lots of emotions and the person has got quite emotional, but it's something they've needed. Once I've given the message, I tend to move away and not really know anything about it. It's not really me that would feel anything profound. I'm hoping it's going to be the people I give it to, but that's up to spirit and them.
Yeah, exactly right, Scott. If you're feeling the profundity of the message, then you're obviously trying to tailor the message to your needs. If you can deliver the most profound message to the person sitting opposite, and it doesn't affect you in any way, shape or form because the message is not for you. It really isn't. If you think that what you're giving is for you, then you're, for want of a better word, tainting the message.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jules, but I don't think that I believe it's he, because I heard she, Jules, I don't think that Jules meant that the message was given, but what the message contained was so like, holy shit. For the other person was like, it was like taking it and they got it, but how it's not a message that the medium understands, but the deepness of what the message meant to the other person. Does that make sense?
No.
It's just sort of like, yeah, lie. It's just like he wants to be careful with my time.
No, again, I'm just going to revert back to the previous comment because the deep and profound messages that you pass, hopefully you pass to every single person. And that is the idea of it. But
Every message that I give to somebody and that person says, yes, is a wow moment to me. And I think, I did it. I really did it. It's all a wow moment. And they're saying, yes, my dog was black and white. Wow, bloody hell, I did it right. So it's, you know, I don't mean to be flippant. I'm really not, but it's a really hard question to answer. The content of what I give, they can be pathetic little things like I've got a yellow jug on a windowsill. Well, that's hardly the earth-shattering message that I'm giving somebody. But for that somebody, it was an earth-shattering message.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the fact that they've taken it and I've been right. Wow, that's the wow bit for me.
yeah, the thing is that I developed a while ago the microwave messages, and the thing about the microwave messages is that you haven't got time in any way, shape or form if you're in a chat room to read the chat room. So you cannot get a positive validation back or a negative validation back before you've moved on to the next message. And the same in the church, but not quite to such an extent, is the fact that you haven't got time to have this validation. And that takes the ego out of everything. Because you haven't got this, as Scott said, wow, I got it right. And the thing is, when you're moving at a pace that you're 3 or 4 messages down, when this person types back, oh my god, that was right, it makes no difference to you, so I just don't look at the chat rooms anymore, don't look at anything to do with that. When Scott said, when he gives messages to people about a black or white dog, and they go, yes, and he goes, good grief, I got it right. That's the wonderful honeymoon period. That's the honeymoon period of, yeah, isn't spirit wonderful? And the thing is that you think, well, in a month, 2 months, 3 months, this honeymoon period's going to go and you're just going to be, quite blasé about it. No, it never happens. This honeymoon period goes on forever because if you're working for spirit, they make it so exciting. to make it so wow that you honestly do that.
Lilith asks, what about a retrospect? After reading, maybe not in the moment because spirit is guiding you, but what about a retrospect? Have you ever thought about a reading and thought, wow?
No, I can say I definitely haven't, because 5 minutes after I've done the reading, it's disappeared. If you take the fact that I've done hundreds of readings every single week for the last 57 years, I cannot retrain them, because I know that I've got a nice shaped head, but unfortunately it can't retain that much. And I made a deal with Spirit long ago whereby I'll work for them as long as they take it away the minute it's not needed.
And also, I haven't been doing it as long, I haven't done as many messages, so I'm still quite new and shiny about it. But I'm the same. I know that, like you said in the chat room, I've spoken to Lilith on Messenger, and gave her a bit of a message. For the life of me, I can't remember a single word that I told you.
Yeah.
And probably 5-10 minutes after I told you, I couldn't tell you. If we had a conversation and you said, well, you said this, then it might start to come back a wee bit, and I'd remember some of it, but the vast majority, I do not have a clue. And if I have, with discussions with other mediums, and most other mediums I've ever heard or read about, that's quite a common thing. We
Yeah.
just get it in our head, get it out our mouth, and move on. Because
It's not
what's to do.
supposed to be for you. It's not
Not for
supposed
us.
to be. And the thing is that if you do that, if you remember what you said to somebody, and you go back 6 months later and you can recount that, is that really from spirit, or
Yeah.
is that something you manifested, made up yourself so you could remember it?
And Jules has just asked a really interesting question. Would you say everyone on the other side is basically fine and well and going on with their existence? No, absolutely not. You might hear or have heard about rescues. There are, in my experience, in my opinion, me and my wife have dealt with a lot of people who have been rescues. They've been stuck. Some of the reasons they're stuck is because they're a religious person, for example, Catholic, that wasn't they're buried in consecrated ground, they didn't get their last rites, they didn't get this. We've dealt with people who've died violently in wars or through real difficult, nasty, horrible situations, and either they don't know they're dead or they haven't worked out how to be dead. So they come to people for help, because apparently people are more like them than the spirit people, the ghosts on the other side. So yes, they are okay, or they have the potential to be okay when they're ready to be okay. If they've died all confused, they'll still be a bit confused on the other side, but I understand that there are teams of healers and doctors and nurses who will take that person and work on them until they're ready to move on. So to say, is everyone fine and well and dandy? I don't think so. That's my opinion.
And I'm going to say something completely different. And I'm going to say yes, everybody on the other side is fine and dandy, and they are. Because I'll tell you why. Because the people that Scott were describing, in my opinion, and again, it's just everybody their own opinion. The people that he described in coming to human, coming to people to try and get them all crossed over, they aren't on the other side. They are still here, or they are still in limbo. They actually haven't crossed to the other side.
Just a body there.
When they get to the other side and they are on there, my belief is, if they're not well, they will be taken to the spirit hospital where they will be worked on. And then once they are of a consciousness that will raise the vibration of the higher side of life and not degrade the vibration of the higher side of life, they will be released back into the mainstream. But the thing is, though, that that may take a while. So if somebody crosses over and they've been a particularly nasty person here on the earth, you may not hear from them for a few years until they get them the head straight and let them back into the general population of the higher side of life.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. No, Cheryl, you're not the only one. Oh crap, I forgot what to read. Welcome to the family. Jules, what's the concept about guardian angels? We don't have a guardian that is with us before or at, we don't have a guardian that is with us before, during, and after life. Yes, we do. My opinion.
I think we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes. My view of guardian angels may be slightly different from other people, but the concept of guardian angels is exactly the same. And the only difference is that with an angelic realm, they haven't been here ever on the earth plane, and therefore they don't understand the concept of day-to-day existence.
How do you mean
totally
get
agree
lost,
with that.
Jules? How do you mean get lost, Jules? The
It's their choice whether they believe in a guardian angel or not. A guardian angel is a spirit.
And there's nasty little two words again. Free will.
I don't know. If you don't believe in angel, spirit, death, or life after death, how can you believe that you've got a guardian angel? It doesn't mean that you don't have one. But it just means, your turn, darling. You're the host.
I am.
Where did I
Thank
have?
you.
Hostess with the mostess.
I am the circus master. I'm kidding. Okay. For those of you who haven't figured this out, if you have something to ask, you can put it into the chat room. And if anybody in the guest list, Erica's there and Scott's over there. Okay. If you have anything to add to anybody in the chat room, please feel free. And I will just sit here and look absolutely gorgeous.
And Cheryl, my guardian angel's turned into a drinker, heavy drinker.
It's probably the one that goes like, oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god,
My
what
guardian
you
angels
doing
love
now?
me. Until I
Somebody
get
has
on the
this.
show. Ooh! That was the thing. They all have a bar specifically for guardian angels' sake. They trade stories.
I better come and talk about us.
Phil says, when they escort us from life, they are retiring. I'm done. No, they stay with us for an eternity.
Yeah, when they escort us from this life, they go, oh no, we've got to start again. We just got him straightened out when he was chained to the hospital bed.
So that leads into another question from me. Eric Glynn passes away.
Yay!
Shut up! He is an awesome medium in his own right now. So when he comes back, we know that Teddy's going to cause such ruckus over there with the two of you. Oh my god, it's not going to be funny. Will you come back with Teddy as your guide in your next life? No?
No.
So your
No.
guides can change from life to life.
Your guides will change because there's no reason for them to be there. I have Teddy at the moment because he is the most suitable person for my interaction with spirit. In a few years' time, I may lose Teddy and I may get somebody else.
Because you don't know what you can put up with his ass.
No, but the thing is, though, that it may be that I have developed to beyond the point of where he is of use. But the thing is, though, that, it may take a while because he seems as if he's developing with me. And most of the other guides that I had have not lasted as long. So,
How it was described to sorry Glenn,
yeah, go on.
how it was described to me was when we start from being a baby, we get taught by our parents. Then we go into nursery school and we get taught by care and nursery teachers. They teach us how to do basic things. Then we go to primary school. In primary school we learn how to read. Then we go off to secondary school. And in secondary school you get lots of different teachers all teaching you different subjects. And then you can choose to go into higher education or further education or trade education. So you get teachers that teach you those particular skills. I think our guides are the same as Eric has been saying. You've got a guide that will teach you how to do basic healing, and a guide that will take you up a level when your abilities change and you need more knowledge. So although you've got a guardian angel, I believe you've got a guardian angel that stays with you from birth to death and beyond. But your guides will change as when you need to learn new lessons. Generally, if you're having all sorts of big upsets in your house and your abilities and the things that you're wanting to do and develop, and suddenly it's all gone to pot or it's all got a bit exciting, generally there's a new guide that's come in and they're trying to make their energy work with your energy and find a way to communicate with you. But lots of guides, lots of helpers, lots of teachers, a huge chorus of helpers behind us. And each of our guides, well, they've got the same as us. They've got their guides teaching them. So it's a huge line of folk behind them.
So the question that Jules has asked in the chat room is, can we ask our energy level be raised? Now,
Yeah.
if we think that we're ready for the next step, who is it up to decide when we're ready for the next step? Us, the human, or our guide, spirit, and whatever you want to call who you connect with? Question.
It's probably a mutual thing. If you're wanting for your energy levels to be raised, then you're gonna be in theory doing more meditating, doing more energy work, more going out and hugging trees, maybe even becoming a vegetarian or whatever else you want to do. You're going to be doing things yourself, looking at penguins, yeah. So you've asked for that thing to happen, for your energy level to be raised. Well, you're going to be doing stuff from your side as well. So if you're doing stuff, they're doing stuff, so it's going to happen. And it's just a case of, when you're ready, it will happen. But if you have to make the first step to them so they can make a step to you.
Okay, so you have to do, that's like that, as you have to do the work.
You have to start the work. You have to take a step to them before they're allowed to come to you. They can't just come and do it to you and make it happen. You have to go to them, take that step. You don't have to have done the work, just start the work. In my opinion.
Mr. Glynn?
I believe that you are always at your correct level. If you have to ask to be raised, then you don't understand the gifts that you already have. When you understand the gifts that you already have, and you become proficient at using what they already have given you, they will then give you something more. But specifically asking for the vibration to be raised or for your level to be raised, if it's not correct, Spirit won't let it happen. And the thing is that if you're asking, it's because you think it's not right. Again, ego. You're not in charge, they are. I know some people don't want to hear that, but unfortunately it's correct. If you ask to be raised, then you're obviously already at the level you need to be. You just haven't used it to your full potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being grateful and giving thanks is important, yes.
And there's another word for anybody who's developing any sort of spiritual gifts or mediumship or healing or any of these spiritual gifts. There is a word that is going to drive you absolutely pagan mental. It's the word patience. You will hear it and you will actually learn to love it with a passion. Patience.
Yep.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
I like to do that without an accent. Give me a break.
Yes, I've been doing this for the last 5 years and I haven't gotten any development. Oh, give it a break. What am I supposed to do? Obviously, you haven't learned the lesson.
Yeah, correct.
Unfortunately, eternity's a long time.
Anybody got any recipes for getting the ants out of my office?
Yeah, squish them.
I've had conversations with them and they don't listen. I've tried.
Squish, squish, squish,
Let's
squish,
start one.
squish.
Find a nest and pour boiling water down it.
They're in the walls.
Uh,
They're wood ants. Salted eggs and hoover them up.
move. Move.
Nobody wants me.
Come to England, we don't have many yams.
No.
Got a lot of uncles.
Oh dear.
We
Oh,
gotta have
very
some.
dear.
I think it's time we left now, Scott. You can do the
I
next.
think so. She's getting a bit giddy.
Yeah, you can do the next 29 minutes from your own and see what happens then.
It's called Damn Did I Start the Recording. No, sorry. That would have been so fast.
Yeah, it's just, it's crazy this. I like the way you checked that. You went, oh, I did start the recording again, didn't I?
Oh my
That
god.
was possibly the shortest session in the archive, wasn't it?
That's
Yeah.
when I sit there and pray to God that my wizard of Intuitalk can fix this shit that I messed up.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't snort. No, it's so good. I might feel.
She does, pardon, she does blow snot bubbles though.
No, I
I've seen that too, Scott. Yes, it just coats the top of her screen down there when she does it. It's
Oh
just
my
when she
god.
snorts and then laughs and then snot bubbles come out. It's not nice. It's not pretty.
It's not
So
pretty.
bad. My
She
goodness.
was probably sure it's on the camera
You
off
all
or
just
something.
scared somebody from the chat room. We were at 60. We're afraid to go see snot bubbles coming out. That's so
I know, but it's okay. It's when it's accompanied by the anal trumpet speech. That's what it is.
Oh my god.
She's got a chair and casters, and when she does that, she blows across the room.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen the dog run out. That's what I've seen. Just the explosion of
Hi,
aerodynamics goes out the
Christy.
room.
Thank Kristen.
Good night, Chris.
Okay, that's who ran away. See, y'all scared her away. That's so not fair.
But tell us what you
Brother.
both have coming up. I think mine's like some chips and a pizza that I had last night.
I don't know.
Oh, it's not.
I'm hoping some, I don't know, some miracle is going to happen and all this money is going to land upon us and I'll build my centre, but I don't know. I really don't know. Wish I did. I'm hoping a good medium might tell me sometime.
No, no,
You
me,
know
I'm not a
it.
good medium. Do you know any good medium? Oh yeah, he's not scared tonight. He's feeling sick. I tell everybody, just in case anybody's interested, I actually tell everybody, and this is absolutely true, when I do a show, I stand in front of everybody and I say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be your host to the other side tonight. If the messages come out and you really like them, my name's Eric Glynn, and if they don't, then my name's Michael Rogers. So, and Michael says exactly the same about me. So there you are, we're quite that way inclined. But, yeah. Have you noticed though? I don't think you've been around long enough. The names for the people who do this work have changed.
Hmm?
Yeah, we went through a spate of the late 80s, early 90s, when people were psychic facilitators. That's
Sounds
like
so wrong.
that's like calling a dustbin man refuge relocation expert. You know?
or petroleum transfer engineers for picking
Yeah,
up
that's the
attendants.
one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So,
Seriously.
is that, why do you keep putting the Facebook page on?
Because I want, if anybody wants to connect with you guys
I know, but
on
Scott
Facebook.
takes you to Scott 98 is the pet of the pig.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
I
it
followed
does.
it. I follow
financials.
it.
Though everybody in the chat rooms now clicking to see what it is, and my Facebook page is just on top of the tree now.
Jill just had enough and she's left because it's getting a bit outrageous. So,
okay. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show.
Well, look at that, it works.
It does.
It's good.
I told you it did. I checked it out before I put it in the chat room. I'm not that bad. I don't put in dead links. Well, much.
Yeah.
What? And all the business stalking.
Trixie goes, hey, listen, do you know what time it is? You know, it's time for her to be stupid to the cat.
Oh, Trixie's a sweet if I don't start. Are there any subject that you won't broach when it comes to readings?
Yeah, imminent death. We've heard of mediums who have told somebody that they're about to die, or somebody very close to them is about to die, or they're very, very sick. None of that nonsense. Well, in my opinion. If I've got somebody who, because I'm a healer, I tend to think healer first before I think medium. If they've got something that's going on, or feeling something going on in their body, my first words to them are, you really should go and get that pain sorted and go and see your doctor. Regardless of what I believe or what I know, then you tell them to go and see the doctor. But there are mediums who will say, I think you've got cancer there in your lung, or I can see you going out and been hit by a bus, and other people have told them, I've described the car to them and said, well, I think you need to take your car into the garage and get that front, left, right, checked, whatever. But there are mediums who won't do that at all. They'll just say, you're going to be in an accident, and I can see or death. Sort of. Rubbish.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm with Scott on that one. Not often. I don't do bad. Or I endeavour not to do bad. If there's something coming along, then Spirit tends to filter it for me. They may give a hint. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I think you need to go and visit the doctor.
Yeah.
You know, they may say, you know, because it's the very old thing of you know, and I can't see your daughter having another birthday, and you know the people go absolutely ill, you know, and then you find out that 364 days later, the medium died. You know, he couldn't see an next birthday. He was being truthful, but did they want to know that? No. Is it relevant to that? No. So therefore, the thing is that Spirit won't tell me. So I just do that. But anything that's going on around and about that they think is relevant, and I'll pass it on. You know.
Plus, there's also that trust thing. Spirit knows that I have a very robust sense of humour. They know that I tend to use swear words as punctuation in every second word when I'm talking half the time.
You never.
Well, it has been, you know, sort of occasional. So they know that it's not a particularly good idea of sending me a medium or sending me a guide who's a bit of a weedy willy or a little flower. They need somebody that's going to come to me that's going to be on my wavelength, to speak my language and give me information that I can use.
Scott, I tell you exactly who you need. You need one of the guys of Still Game.
Yeah. So my heroes there.
Yeah. You need one of the guys, Victor of Still Game. He could be your guys, couldn't he?
Well, I'm hoping Billy Connolly might die soon, so I can have him as a guide.
Oh, that would I like Billy Connolly. No.
Again, I'm kidding. I'm
That would be
kidding, but it'd
awesome.
be good to have a middle.
Finally on the show now. That
If
would
you
be
start, now listen, if you start wearing ladies' tights,
We can start.
yeah, you're in the air. Take,
I find see when you're sitting down, do you find it in the side of your leg that those little bits of metal that catches it, they catch your side of your thigh? Or is it just me?
yeah. I can see that you've already started with a full winter blooming since the lead, so I suppose the rest will be the following year.
Individually tinted.
Oh yeah, individually
Makes me
tinted,
look,
yeah.
makes me look distinguished.
Windswept and interesting.
That's the very one.
I've heard of that one before. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, does anybody in the chat room have a question for these very interesting and probably gentlemen? Because I think I've covered every subject that I can think of with these guys. Would you
One of the
would the two of
things
you like to work together? That's my question. Would the two of you like to work together in the same room? God help the world if it happens,
yeah.
but
It's like
Stick
your
us on a,
stroke.
listen, stick us on a stage at somewhere like the Barbican. It's going to be worth a while.
Yeah, because
And if we can insult loads of people in an hour and a half. So,
that'd be good.
you know what? Do you know what Michael says? And this is absolutely, completely true. Do you know what Michael says at the end of his services in church? He turns to the congregation and he says, "Well, I'm terribly sorry, but if I haven't spoken to you, it's just because I don't like the look of you."
such a sweet man. This is my
Yeah.
life.
He is also the gentleman who says to the congregation, you know the feeling when spirits really close, and you know when they're starting to work with you. It feels like you've got nits. And for the next hour, the congregation's going. And he does it every single time because he's a swine that way.
That makes me laugh.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He really is. I mean, he did pick up on the one where I said, I can't tell whether or not they're planted or fried. And Michael thought that was a good one.
That's like a good barbecue.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, I've lost my mother last week. I said, no, no, she's planted or fried yet, so it was a couple of minutes to get sorted.
I do have to say, it's very, very good. All right.
Yeah. You see, darling, this is the trouble with having English mediums on. Because
Pardon?
English mediums,
Pardon? Hello? Pardon?
you are
You did it,
by
not me.
definition of a fact you live in England,
I'm
and
not
English
English.
medium.
I'm British, thank you very much. I'll agree to be British.
Windswept and interesting, shut up.
I'm Scottish. Don't ever call me
Scottish.
English. You can
Yeah,
call me
yeah.
anything you want, just don't call me English.
Listen, the best thing that came out of Scotland was the year one. Look, it's just the trouble with having mediums on that come from England, Scotland, Britain, is the
Yeah.
fact that we have this Indian sense of humour, and it's one of them things that when you work with spirit, you take the sense of humour into the spirit work. And there's a lot of people think that it's flippancy. A lot of people think that it's just the fact that we do nothing but joke around. Please, to the people that's in what we got 15 people left in the chat room now, please know that both myself and Scott actually take our connection to spirit very seriously.
Yep.
And that we don't do this lightly when we're working with spirit. Our way is to work with humour, our way is to work with a light and that transition. But the thing is though that at the end of the day, if you don't like it, I couldn't give a damn. You know,
Right?
it's because
I've been in churches where everyone has been very pro-faith. Oh dear. And the medium has been very... Just get over yourself. Life's too short.
poor say so. No poor free zone.
Exactly. When the spirit know the people we are, so they send the guides and the teachers in the way that we're happy with. If you're not happy and enjoying yourself, and you get very, very serious, the energy just goes...
Yeah.
We've got people being silly and they're laughing and they're joking in the chat room. That's brilliant because for people out here in the pictures, we are, in the cameras, we are getting all the energy we're feeding from, and it's absolutely wonderful. So laughter's the way to do it. And when it gets too serious, you might want to go somewhere else.
Honestly,
See you, Jennifer.
And in the
Please,
chat room.
Jennifer, night
Actually,
night. Night
and in the
night.
chat room has asked, have you ever delivered a message to someone who didn't ask for any message?
No,
You gave them.
because basically, over here in the United Kingdom, you're bound by a creed of that you must ask if it's okay to deliver a message.
That's I have sort of in one-to-one messages,
You're
one-to-one
shocked. Alright.
conversations with people. When the conversation is turned and I feel the person's okay to get a message from Spirit or whatever, and the conversations come around, then yes. But in general, stopping somebody in the street, when, for example, I was in a supermarket, I seen an old man walking, looking very dejected, depressed and down with his shopping basket, and a small loaf and half a pint of milk, and walking beside him was the most beautiful woman. But the woman was a spirit. I just got a very, very quick glance, and it was a spirit, and I really wanted to go over and say, your doctor's with you, but I didn't, because it's just not right. But in general conversation, yes, I have a couple of times.
Nelly used to say to me something which I will impart to the chat room. She says, never go up to somebody and tell them that their head grandmother thinks it's a wonderful idea that they're pregnant, because a smack in the mouth usually offends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I get something like that, it's only happened to me once, where, somebody, spirit kept wanting me to give a message, and I was at work. And for some people who know, I work at a convenience store, and I'm a cashier, and there's always somebody wanting gas, wanting soda, wanting beer, whatever. So it happened about 3 times. Every time this woman kept coming in, I kept getting what I call my smack in the back of the head. And the last time I said, look, if you want me to give this a message, then the next time this woman comes in, there best be nobody around, nobody at the gas pumps, nobody at, in the store. And just then, yeah, because I can't have a lineup of people waiting to pay for their lottery tickets and their magazines and what have you. And I'm giving a message to a woman, So, okay, go feed the cat. So the next time that this woman did come in, there wasn't a single solitary person at the gas pumps or at the store at all. So I was able to give what I believed was the message that she needed. And it was. But it's not, I kind of sort of said, hey, you don't know who I am except the cashier. But outside of here, I connect with people who are no longer of this earth, and actually it was different. It was difficult because I had to do it in French, so the wording is different. But basically, and then I said to the woman, "May I, come around and hug you? I just feel that you need a hug." And she said yes. So I went around and gave her a hug. And for some reason I didn't do it the normal way I normally do. I have no idea, And it says that's the exact way my daughter used to hug me. So I knew then, who it was that kept coming through. So yes, hugs are awesome. It's a connection. It's my way of transferring my energies. Well, not my energies, but I work with energies. So yeah. So, look, Eric's back. Fix again soon.
It's bad.
Yes. Okay, now please.
I just thought breathing was a little bit more important than staying in front of
Yeah, that was sweet.
Oh, but no, it's entertaining though.
you. Definitely not.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. What a miss.
No, nothing.
Nothing. Just me babbling. I don't ramble, I babble.
Yeah. But no, I think that working with spirit is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great honor.
It's wonderful. People just don't understand that the ability to tell people stuff,
Yeah.
it gives them closure. I mean, it's just brilliant. And I love what I do. Sometimes I even love Teddy, but, you know, only sometimes.
And when you see people's faces when you've given them that proof and they've cried, or you can hear them crying sort of in the words that they're writing on the screen, it's marvellous. It's such a healing thing as well. And if you watch some of Stephen Fry's programs, when he stands in front of an audience and he gives his healing, you see their faces just crumple. And the proof he gives folk is wonderful. I know there's some folk have problems with Stephen Fry, but his mediumship when he's spot on is absolutely awesome. And it's healing. It's another form of healing.
That's why when people ask me to what are you, and I have this problem of putting myself in a box, giving myself a name, I say I'm a healer. Because even a medium, a psychic, when they give a message, it's a form of healing to the person who's receiving it. Not just, I as a Reiki practitioner or, somebody else, whatever they do. It's a form of healing. You heal by giving your messages. You heal by giving the healing, by giving the crystal or whatever the case is. So for me, that's just, we're all just healers of different forms. Yeah.
I always refer to myself as a spirit worker. And because it just encompasses everything. Because as I've said many times backwards, so there's no wrong way of connecting with spirit, just different ways of getting it right.
In different ways that suit the person that needs it.
Yeah.
And there are some that need the full-face medium, there's some that need us clowns
Yeah.
for them to get the message. Pardon?
What is pole face? Canadian
Ready?
pole.
Watch.
Like they've got a lemon jammed up their derry air. But you see them with a little religious Bible and, the strip collars and looking down their glasses edge. No, I don't think so. And a pose is an old British word for goes under the bed. A little jug that goes under the bed before toilets were invented.
A teapot.
Yeah, it's called a pole. Well, if you look at a pole, it's got a mouth like that sort of. That's where it comes from. In a pole face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I thank you, gentlemen. It's the end of our show. Somebody's got to fork out some money so we can give Onyx a shake. Okay, so I got to go make some money. And both of you boys for hanging tight. Michael, I hope you get better because your ass is going to be on the show all by yourself.
Your ass is grass and she's a lawnmower.
I'll mow your ass, mother. But a big thank you to everybody in my chat room and Carol, Carrie, Cheryl, Eric, yes, Jackie, Jennifer, Journey, Lilith, Saya, Kathleen. Done a little late, but we still love you. Scott Stevenson, the quiet one, and Tracy K. And we had, of course, Becca G and Brian, who kept getting kicked out of here, and it wasn't my fault. I thank you all very much for coming to the chat room. I think next time we have the Rambling Mediums on, it's going to be an all-reading show. So come with your questions, come with what you want, and we're going to make them work, not just have fun and chit chat.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely have to have a reading. If we can get Michael to turn up. That'll probably be good.
I'm not even going to count on Michael anymore. He says yes and then he gets sick or falls asleep. I love him. He's got an awesome name, but he's still a boy and he's got cooties. Love you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, boys, for showing up.
Good night, everyone. Blessings.
And before I forget, next week's guest is Alan Lucid. So all of you who are on Facebook know who he is. come on back to the show next week, and we'll torture poor Aiden as we did. And I don't torture people; they torture me. Love you.
That's how.
Bye.